Hey everyone, welcome back to the Transcend podcast. My name is Reagan Shepard, and today we have a special episode for you. Joining me is Marine Corps veteran Brian Jacklin, and he's here to tell you a little bit about his time as a gunnery sergeant, his trials, tribulations, and how he's overcome them. Have a listen. So you're born and raised in LA.
Yeah.
What was it like as a kid? Like, were you part of sports? Like, what was your family dynamic like? Give me a little flashback.
I think there's a reason that most guys I know in special operations came honestly into the field, and why I say honestly, it's like because they were brought up in a way that forced them to like want more of themselves, or I guess we all have something to prove at the end of the day, or like we did, or I grew up the youngest of five boys, um, in average household, like 1,200 square foot house in Hacienda Heights, but not like the nice part of Hacienda Heights, like down towards like City of Industry.
Okay.
And both my parents worked. My mom was a florist. My dad was like a draftsman, and he could kind of like would bounce between jobs. He was a high school dropout, so he'd bounce around doing engineering work or blueprints and things like that. But he was always like in and out of work, as I remember. So we'd be up for a while, we'd be okay, and then for a while we're like eating beans and weenies and that sort of thing. So I guess when I grew up and I was watching how we kind of came up, and I kind of had this realization like this wasn't for me, And then my brothers they're their own breed too. We don't really see eye to eye on how life goes. And
Okay.
so I just made my own way in life. Maybe I went a long way around. That the appeal of like doing your own thing and pushing for more, and that like anything that we can do in this life, or anything that you could do in this life, is on you. Like no one's going to help you, and it's kind of like a motto we always had at least with Recon and then with MARSOC, was that like no one is coming to save you. Everything is your responsibility. Like find work.
And I think, because I'm the oldest of three, kind of four. Growing up, it was three in the house. And my youngest brother, I find him kind of embodying that a little bit, because I feel like when you're the youngest, you do have to do more for yourself in a certain sense, because sometimes, yeah, you have your older siblings there to help you, but eventually they're going to go off and you're kind of living life on your own again. And it's like you sometimes do have the most abstract thinking compared to your other siblings. And just hearing you express that, I find myself having similar conversations with my brother about it, because I want him to know that, yes, we've kind of paved the way, but also you can do things the way you want to do it. It doesn't have to embody what we did. And I think sometimes the youngest has to grow up and mature a lot quicker than maybe people think.
Yeah. I could say this, my dad, old Jim Jacklin, he was not one to mess around, right? Like as the youngest of five boys, he had zero patience for any nonsense, and I gave him a lot of nonsense. So it was I love my dad dearly, and he died when I was 15, caught cancer when I was 13,
Sorry.
and then so. Yeah, I mean, like he got sick, and then I was like, kind of like, getting into all the things I shouldn't be into, and I ended up getting in too much trouble in LA and had to get farmed out to my grandma's place out in Corona, California, which was like, a whole different. It was like a flip flop. I moved from LA into like a trailer park in Corona, and but I will say this is like getting that change of scenery, like it really did. It saved me. It saved me from being what I wouldn't have wanted to be in life. Like I was going nowhere fast in LA, and not with people I was hanging out with or things I was doing. And when I went to Corona, it was like kind of a fresh slate. And my grandma was one of those, like, she'd say, well, don't bring the John Darns to the door. She's like this old school, like, Irish Catholic lady. And she, don't bring the John Darns to the door. I'm like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
It's like the cops. Keep the cops out of the doors. It's so naturally, like within like a month of living at her house, like I get arrested and bring the cops to the door. And she was furious with me. And so I spent like a summer of like washing cop cars and stacking wheelchairs at a hospital for like community service to stay out of juvie. And I think that really that kind of set me up for success. I went, I was, I'm a big guy now. I'm like 6'4", like 235. But when I was in high school, even like at 18 years old, like I mean, I was like 6 foot, 180 pounds. You know, like I
Okay.
wasn't anything like.
But I mean, that's people strive to be that.
I grew 4 inches from like 18 to like 25.
Okay.
So I was like, man, if I would have had those 4 inches before, maybe I could have done some of the football. But like, yeah, I played football, wasn't very good at it.
Okay.
You know, ended up when I went to Corona, I went from in LA, I was at like Los Altos High School, which was like a Division 7 school, and then went out to Corona, and it was Corona Centennial, which is like this powerhouse of a football factory school.
Okay.
So like Division 3, and like I was like 180-pound defensive end facing like 300-pound lineman. I was
Why'd they put you as DN?
Because I can't catch. I don't know. Like there's some weird like look. I could do all kinds of things, but don't ask me to catch a football.
Okay.
Don't
You could
know
have been
why.
like just a tall running back, maybe.
You know, yeah, can't catch. I mean, I wasn't running anywhere near a 4.4.
Okay.
So
okay.
it just ended up being this thing where I was like, yeah, football ain't for me. And then I remember being in an auto shop, and I had this guy I knew in there. He was a wrestler. He's like, you should come out for wrestling. I'm like, wrestling? What? Like wear the singlets? That's silly. I'm not doing that. He's like, well, you don't have the fortitude to do it anyways. So like,
Ego.
oh, now you're challenging me, like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna go check this thing out. So I went and wrestled, and I mean, like, it was by far the hardest thing I'd ever done. Like the first wrestling practice, like I get done, I could barely walk out of there, and we got the heaters on, and we're like slipping all over the floor because we're sweating everywhere, and 3 hours into that practice, and it was just like, dude, like this is like every day. And then I think the coach was like, "You're gonna see you tomorrow," and I was like, "Yep."
Yeah.
And I just, and it was the same mentality that I used like really throughout the rest of my life, like Marine Corps, Special Operations. It's like, yeah, today was fucking horrible. Let's see what tomorrow brings. So it's like one more day. Just push one more day. We'll do one more day. We'll do one more fucking mile. We'll do one more day. And that kind of like that's really the key to success in life is like life is just like one adversity after the other thrown at you, like financial hardships, like a failed marriage, like whatever it is, just like catastrophe after catastrophe, but you just keep driving forward one day at a time.
100%.
And I think that's more than anything. Like when I started wrestling, I think that was what really changed things for me as an individual, because it allowed me to see what I was truly capable of when I applied myself like wholly to something. Like, okay, like no one's going to save you on the mat. Whether you win or lose is directly related to your preparation before the event.
Yep.
And I was fighting from behind the 8 ball because I already I was like I don't know, sophomore in high school or junior or whatever it was. Like I had like zero training, no skills, and it's
just
like
raw dogging it.
I was just raw dog. And my coach, he told me, he's like, Jacklin, if I would have caught you as a freshman, you would be like a contender because I had the aggression and I had like the athleticism. I just didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So he's like, you're going to learn these three moves and you're going to perfect them. And I did. I learned like three takedowns, and I just focus on those, one or two stand-ups, no nothing fancy, no Grambies, none of that shit.
Yeah.
Just a hard knocks. Like I'm just, and I made sure that I was the most physically fit. Like I would just cardio to the nth degree, and so if I could go 5 periods nonstop in an Ironman where I got fresh guys at all times, then I know for sure I could go 3 periods and then in overtime.
Right.
And that was my mentality. Like I'm just going to outwork my opponent because I surely am not going to outskill them.
Right.
And if I outskilled them and I knew that I was outskilled them from the beginning, like I would just fuck them up.
Yep.
And then it's like, oh, this is going to be great. This guy doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
No, I love that you were kind of making that analogy with just sports and life, because I think it's very evident. And I did sports growing up, and when I get in tough times, I remember the physical stress and pain that I'd gone through and how I've been able to overcome that, because it does translate. And sometimes, like you were talking about how you got into it kind of late, but sometimes when you get into things late, that's exactly where you need to be, because you have a different perception, a different approach towards it, and you do work harder. You do want to try to prove yourself. And I always relate it to like track running. Like every rep is going to get harder, but your body will recover, and pain is temporary. You got to learn to embrace it. And I don't know, whenever I'm like in tough places, I remember I was on my deathbed running repeat 200s, and I felt like I had no air to gasp, but I got it, and I continued, and I pushed, and I recovered. So I love that you were speaking on that.
Good for you. Like track and field, like I hate running.
Oh, I
It's,
hate it too, but I
like
had to
like
learn to love it.
yeah, that's the thing. The Marine Corps was like we had this platoon sergeant when I was first in the grunts, and his name was Sergeant Martinez, and fantastic guy. Like I didn't realize it at that time, but he was like one of the greatest mentors as I was coming up because he really like held me to a standard. But that guy would he would run marathons on his own, for
Wow.
funsies.
For
But
funsies.
then our platoon was like his training,
Uh-huh.
like he's like, oh, Monday we're running. What are we doing?
Oh no.
Probably running 12 miles. Sure enough, yep. Or Tuesday, what are we doing? 6 miles. Wednesday, 10 miles. And so we were some running fools, but I was never very good at it, and I was always like struggling to keep up. And then when I remember being over in Iraq and I see like the recon during the invasion, and I see like these guys and they had like their long hair and beards and everything, and they were like, I was like, who are those guys? And they're like, shut up, Jacklin. I'm like, no, like really? They're like, those are recon. Don't go talk to them. I'm like, Roger that, Corporal. And I was like, well, my name's Lance Corporal Jacklin. How the hell do I get over here? And they're like, you don't. And I'm like, and I kept going on to them.
Yeah.
But I saw that, I was like, I need to go there. And I realized like, well, shit, I got to be like really good at running. Like I'm not that good at running, but these recon guys. And then I realized that like when you go over to recon and like special ops, like, yeah, you have to pass through the initial, like however fast you have to run. But it's more of like a holistic approach. Like you have to be able to run, but you also have to be able to hike with weight for long distances. You have to be able to swim. You have to be able to like do all kinds of agility stuff. And moreover that, like, what's your mindset?
Yes.
At the end of the day, like physical abilities are one thing, but your ability to persevere through adversity is final. Like if you can't persevere through the adversity that is brought to you by any number of situations in training, like how are you supposed to do that in real life?
Exactly.
It's not going to get easier.
No.
And I tell the young Marines now when I'll go and speak to different engagements, and I talk to these young guys, and they're like, well, how should we train? What should we do? I'm like, just train with adversity. Like don't train where things like go right and you like high five. Like you need to throw like curveballs in. You need to train hard because combat is going to expose whatever weaknesses you have. And there's just like a hard knocks mentality. Like again, no one is coming to save you. No one cares about you. You're on your fucking own.
Yep.
Figure it the fuck out.
100%.
If you can't do that, like you have no place in this organization. And you need to be a self-starter. Like you shouldn't have to be told to stay in shape. It's just what it is. You shouldn't have to be told to do something that's not your job, because if it needs to be done, it needs to be done.
Exactly.
Like just find work. Exactly. If you're done with your work, well, what else needs to be done? Does Reagan need help with her work? What are we doing? We're doing Excel spreadsheets. I fucking hate Excel spreadsheets. Like, okay, well, like let's look at YouTube videos and figure out how do we do this shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna type my 10 words a minute because I can't type. And we'll figure it out. But I know I'm on a soapbox right now. You got me.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
No, you're speaking facts, because everything starts in the brain. Like all sports that I've been a part of have reemphasized that idea that your body will keep going as long as your brain tells it to keep going. And you're going to feel pain. You're going to feel like you're at your threshold. But if you have a proper mindset and say, I can do hard things, you will get through that. And it translates to all areas of life. I think like physical activity is the perfect way to exemplify what goes on in other areas of life as well. Because sometimes people need to like experience it in the flesh. But I don't know. Hearing you explain that, it just made me flash back to everything you learned in your childhood and your upbringing, and just throughout life reinforces that it's mind over matter. And as long as you have a good mindset, you can do whatever you put your mind to. And yeah.
I was listening to a, like the feeds that come up on your like Instagram accounts, and like Jocko Willink, because like sometimes the stuff will come up. But I've met Jocko, great guy.
What's he do? What's his?
He's a SEAL. He was a SEAL, mid-level commander with the SEALs. But he's like big in like social media now. He like writes children's books. He's like has his own fucking protein powder. He's an example of like what could be done even as a meathead, which Jocko is a meathead. And I love you, Jocko, like you're a meathead. And anyone who knows him knows that too. But he's also a savant in different ways. But he has this saying, and it was like this little clip he had. It was like, oh, like things aren't going right. Good. More chance to figure it out. Like, you don't want to train. Good. A chance to see how fucking far you could go that day, or to push through that adversity. Like every adversity if you look at it like, oh, woe is me, and like it's not fair, I can't catch a break. Like you're never, it's the wrong attitude.
Can't victimize yourself.
Exactly, you victimize yourself. Like, but if you look at it like, hey, this is the chance for me to like prove to myself that I'm better than this. This is a chance for me to like push through that wall. And what I would say to like everybody out there listening, and if you just like you're having like a really tough time with whatever it is, like, okay, give it just a little bit more time.
Yep.
Like you said, I can't go with one more day. Like, you know what? Give it 2 days.
Yeah.
And you'll see, or like give it, like, oh, you're like you say, you're like out of breath. You're like, oh my God, I'm gonna fucking die. You're not gonna die. Give it another run.
Yeah.
Like just give it another go, and you'll find that like if you just hold on through that adversity a little bit longer, whether it's physical pain or suffering or mental anguish, whatever, you will come out on the other. You will adapt. Your body and your brain is built.
Yes.
To adapt.
Yep.
You just have to give it the chance to do it.
Yep.
It's not instantaneous. It's just like I remember I did this thing called the Recon Challenge years back with a good buddy of mine named Will Simpson. He's, one of my closest friends from the teams at MARSOC. And so he and I, on a dare, decided like, yeah, we're going to do this. We'll do the Recon Challenge. Someone's like, you won't do it. We're just right out of Afghanistan.
Okay.
I mean, why not do it with like no training? It's only like a 2-kilometer fin.
Okay.
Followed by 25 miles hiking with a 60-pound ruck over the mountains with all these different events. It was like an all day.
Hold on, that's a lot though.
Yeah, all day hit your life. And we're on like I think we're on like mile 12, and my legs start locking up, and I'm walking like I'm just Frankenstein, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, and then the fear comes like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm like halfway done, and my legs are locked up uncontrollably.
And the
like
lactic acid
I
building
can't
up.
they won't even bend.
Yeah, no.
And like, but like. The shame that would come from quitting would like be like a lifetime. Like, and I was just like, and he's like, come on, the expletive, like you better not slow us down. And I'm like, and I remember like, I'm just like punching my legs, like kneading the lactic acid out of them. And finally, and I just kept going. And then there's this weird thing that happened, like another mile into it. It's like I just felt my legs, they just loosened up and they just started working again.
Yep.
And it was like, my body was like, well, I guess you're not going to listen to me, so we're going to just keep going. Now, then fast forward 10 hours or whatever it was, and we're at the bar, and then people are like, oh, I'm going home. Like, fuck that, we're going drinking. Like, we earned this. So we're at the bar, and I'm like talking, we're talking smack. I'm drinking a Jameson, and then I have time travel to the next morning. They're like, yeah, like you were like halfway through, like taking a sip, and like you just like fell over, dropped the glass. Your body's like, that's it. This is where I draw the line. You're fucking done here.
That's so funny.
And so your body will tell you when to quit, or it'll tell you that you're able to keep going. But if you don't take the time to listen and the time to push through just a little bit longer, you'll never know.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You just gotta let your body shut down, because until you're on the ground, you can give a little bit more. Yeah. So always push that threshold for sure. That's it. So did you always want to be in the service, or was this something that came as you got older?
Funny enough, it's like my mom will tell you that from the time I could like have cognitive realization about like what I wanted to do, it was like, what are you gonna be for Halloween? Army man, every year, And even in high school, I was like, yeah, like I always want to I was always reading anything I could about the military, watching anything I could about the military, like the old I don't know, like the Discovery Channel or whatever, like the military show, or the military channels. Like I was like glued to that stuff.
That's what's up.
So I was always very interested in it. And then, when I decided to join, and my mom was not a fan of it.
Okay,
I went to the delayed entry program into the Marine Corps. So like I think a junior or going into my senior year, I signed up that I wanted to go.
Okay.
And then she gave my recruiter like the riot act, like, who are you to come to my house? Tell me. Yeah, it wasn't an easy experience, but
what was she nervous about, like what could come with that? Did she not see that for yourself maybe?
I was her only son. So I had like 4 older brothers, but they were from my dad's previous marriage. But for her, I was like her baby. And she's like, I didn't raise you to see you like roll as cannon fodder in some old man's war. And I remember telling her, I was like, Mom, like, what are you talking about? Like, we're just gonna have like best friend time. Like, there's no war going on. I'm just gonna join the Marine Corps and travel around and shoot guns, and like, it's gonna be great. And then I remember I was in boot camp, and it was like, I was in boot camp on July 9th I came July 9th of 2001. So I was there when September 11th happened.
Okay.
And I was at the tail end of boot camp. We're up at the northern side of the Camp Pendleton, the field training phase. And remember they came in like Twin Towers got hit by airplanes. There's a bunch of dead Americans. Like, who's my infantry motherfuckers at? And it was like me and 2 other guys out of like 90. Like, I raised my hand. They're like, "You're dead, Jacklin. You're going to war." And I was like, "They're not. They're not
being for
they're
real.
Not real." But we have no contact with the outside. So what do I know? And then on Sunday they bring in a newspaper every Sunday, and it has like a picture of the planes hitting the towers. That iconic picture. And
My gosh.
I remember I was like, that's like a movie prop, man. They're just trying to mess with us.
Yeah.
It's not real.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like family day. So when the Thursday before you graduate, they have a thing called family day where, at that time, like my mom came down with my aunt and, they like saw me and she's like, first thing out of her mouth, like, "Did you hear what happened?" I'm like, "That really happened?"
Right.
Shit, man, that's not good. I'm in the infantry.
You got a little nervous.
Yeah, so it got real quick, right?
How old were you when this happened?
I was 18.
My gosh.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I was 18 in boot camp. Yeah, so I was 18. So like from the time I came in, it was like, oh shit, like this is a real thing. We're gonna have to like put our money where our mouth is. You sign the contract, and so it was like all hands to training. And I mean, but the thing was, like, when I was coming up as a young infantry guy, I was like, well, I don't know what's going on. I'm like a private. I'm a boot, But the corporals or sergeants hadn't been to war either. Like, no one had been to war. It was
new
like,
for all of us.
It was a blind lead in the blind. I'm like, "Hey, what do you think about this, Sergeant?" Like, "Shut the fuck up," is what I think. Like, "Oh, good talk, Sergeant." Like, it was,
I know just as much as you technically about this. Neither of us have been there, so let's just share some ideas about like just anything.
Well, then we're in Iraq. I was like, "Hey, Corporal, where are we at?" Like, "Shut the fuck up," is where we're at. Like, "All right."
Okay.
It was just very much like that was my experience in the infantry. And for those out there listening, if anyone's listening to this, I'll say that they'll understand this analogy. Is like the infantry in the Marine Corps is like eating soup with a fork. It's for, "Hey, Reagan, go ahead and eat. There's a bowl of soup. Why don't you take his fork and eat that soup?" You're like, "Yeah, but I got a spoon in my pocket." I'm like, "I didn't fucking ask you if you had a spoon in your pocket. I told you to eat it with a fork like I fucking told you." It's like that is the conventional Marine Corps, and I love them. Like, there's a reason why they win. Is because like blind obedience to orders, and just like if you want an area secured or something smashed, or like if you want anything done without fail, take like a line infantry unit or like a combat arms line unit from like the Army, the Marine Corps, whatever, like with like good solid leadership, like they will get it done.
Okay.
It ain't gonna be pretty,
right?
But
it's gonna get done.
It's gonna get done. It'd be like me. Like me doing an Excel spreadsheet. It's not gonna be pretty. It may not be quick, but it'll get done. Maybe not to your liking, but like whatever. Like find someone better if you don't like it.
Right. No, exactly. So it kind of, that time period really shaped you just to be able to follow, but in a trusting way, would you say? Or what would you kind of sum up that whole beginning part of your journey as?
I would say it refined my expectations.
Okay.
So like when I came in the Marine Corps, I remember vividly, like when I graduated out of School of Infantry, and I went to my unit, and I remember showing up, I was like, "Hell yeah, Marines, right? Infantry." And they're like, "Shut the fuck up, boot." I'm like, "Oh," I'm like, why is everyone yelling at me? They're like, they're like, "Get up in your, like, here's your room, shitbag." And they like give me a room, and they put me in there with this other like new guy. We're like sitting there in our racks, and like, go to use the bathroom. The shower is like, you turn on the shower with a set of vice grips. It's like we're in like, I don't know the state of those barracks. I just knew that nothing worked right.
Okay.
And like, and we're sitting on our racks, and we're like, "Dude, what do we do now?" And you just hear like this like laughing outside, and then like the door gets boom, just gets kicked in, and in come my NCOs, my non-commissioned officers, my corporals, and they're like, "You're the new boots. Hey, this your stuff?" Because I'd already like taken out my stuff. I put it. They call it a secretary, but it's like just like a dresser, like big wall dresser of wood, and I had everything all covered in a line, and they're all pretty
organized.
Organized, because I just came out of like organization school, like boot camp,
yeah,
SOI, like everything is just so. I got my high and tight haircut and everything. I'm like ready to be a Marine. They're like, "This is your stuff? Not anymore, shitbag." And they like throw it over. They're like, "Gangway," and they throw it off like the third story.
Oh my
and
God.
it smashes in the rocks below. And I was like, oh, like, I don't understand what's going on. They're like, pour beer on my, you know, they're
It's
just
like your confidence is always dipped a little bit. Every time you kind of walked up, it's like, okay, we're gonna start over
like,
now.
I mean, like, so they always like this hazing thing. Like we live in a kinder, gentler society now. It's like, well, you can't like haze the Marines or whatever. Was I hazed as a young dude? Absolutely. Did I deserve it? Absolutely. And would I do it again and want that? Absolutely.
Okay.
Because that it galvanized me. It galvanized like, okay, like what are the corporals gonna do if I'm here at the barracks? They're gonna fuck with me. I need to get out of the barracks as soon as we're off of duty. You know, so like as soon as I'd be like, hey, dismissed, like I would already have my stuff planned. I would already have my shit in my car, in the parking lot, ready to go. I wouldn't even go to my room. Like you have probably about like a 90-second time period before someone's like, hey, we need to work a party over here, whatever it is.
Gosh.
They're gonna, and
No
it's,
time.
it's like, well, and you know, like if you're like Joe New Guy, like what are you doing? You know, you're doing all this stuff no one else wants to do.
Right.
But this is back in the day before cell phones, right?
Okay.
Like I didn't have a cell phone until I was like in my 20s.
Wow.
And I was like, so they like I give them like my mom's number in LA and Nashville. I was like, do not, whatever you do, let them know that I'm at this house. Okay. They're gonna call you and be like, I don't know, I haven't seen him this weekend. And I would like be in the house hanging out, and she'd be like, I don't know, he hasn't come here. And I go in on Monday. They're like, hey, Jacklin, where the fuck were you at? We did a piss test this weekend. We tried to call you. I'm like, I was at my girlfriend's house, Sergeant. You know, like, they freak out. Like, and I would just always play dumb, you know.
Yeah.
Like I learned the game, you know. And it's like, but by way of getting like terrorized, it made me like be adaptive. Like, okay, so they threw off my secretary and smashed in the rocks down below. Like, okay, where am I going to find like a new thing? You know, a new secretary to put all my stuff, because I still like now I got to get my room field day ready within the next 30 minutes, or they say they're going to do it again.
Wow.
Well, Alpha Company's on deployment. I'm going to kick a door open, and Alpha Company's still one of their secretaries. I would move it to my room, and I would clean up all my shit, restack it in my secretary, and I'm going to throw all that other shit in the dumpster out in the back. And we're going to just carry on.
There we go.
And you just go through those fucking...
Teaches you how to...
And you just go through those games over and over and over again. And, yeah, it's good for you.
You know, so that's crazy that you mentioned this. You're leading this, because I had somewhere I wanted to go next, but you're leading me right there. I was reading about your Navy Cross, and it was talking about, you know, the decisiveness that you made in that situation, kicking the door down, getting your cohort out, and hearing you explain the type of lessons that you learned as a youngster. I could see how that would prepare you for things like that. And would you want to just speak on, like, I don't know, like how you were able to make that decision, and just, was it relying on your training? Was it instinct? Was it a combination of both?
Well, I would say that it's not as simple as like one thing or the other. Like, I think that instinct is bred out of experience. I mean, you have like your basic like fight or flight as a human with your like was what we call like lizard brain, but instinct is derived from experience, and experience is derived from like dedication. And like I had the benefit of a bunch of leaders from my time in the infantry to my time in reconnaissance that were like, they were very like hard nosed in their application of like justice or like, you know, learning points. Like, learning was done by pain. We said like pain retains. Okay. So like, cool, Jacklin, you want to like fucking look around and not pay attention in a fucking brief? Good. Well, you owe me 208 count bodybuilders outside afterwards. So then I'm there like a jerk, just doing like 8 count bodybuilders out in front of the battalion command post. Or they, you know, but that was like a standard thing in like recon. Like, you just see guys out there like, effectively it's like a burpee with a little bit more juice on it. Yeah, to put it into context for your you know, imagine doing like, you're out just doing like a couple hundred burpees, you know, middle of the day on a Wednesday, because like, you know, you decided like, I'm gonna make a statement in this like setting that I shouldn't be making. I should just like listen more than I speak. But that's never been my way. I always like,
I can relate to that.
Yeah, you know, if I got something that comes to my mind, it just like, it's just out.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then I see like the anger in the platoon sergeant's face. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna cost me. You know. So if you're not smart, you got to be tough, right?
Right.
So it's like, oh, I'm just you owe me 308 count bodybuilders. Don't come in until they're done. I'm like, and then you're out there like doing 8 count bodybuilders, and people just come by and they just know they know the drill. They're like, yep, Jacklin.
He said something he probably shouldn't have said.
Jacklin and Schmuckatelli screwed up again. Like, So it
I
goes.
get you.
But I had these leaders that accountability. I mean, they would just drill us over and over and over and over again. And I mean, it really like I think that stuck with me because like the way we would train is we would train like hard, we train late, we would do something not until we just like had it down, but like until we like had it down and contingencies and like we'd throw in all these like curveballs. We constantly test and try each other to the maximum of our potential. And there was no such thing as like, well, it's like 1600, it's like 4 o'clock. Like, what are we doing here? It was like, no, like you train to a standard, not to a time. Like you're there until you figure it out. And even as like when I was like a senior enlisted advisor, or an operations chief, it'd be like, hey, Top, like, why, what, it's like 1800 on a Thursday. Like I got like my wife has this. I'm like, the wife has nothing to do with me. I don't care about your wife. Like, figure it. Like,
We're here for you.
Listen, if you fucking idiots could get this fucking right, we wouldn't have to talk about going home to our wives. I mean, I got a wife right now. I'm on my second divorce. Like, maybe she wants to be home and I can figure my shit out. But here I am watching you just fumble through this. Like, why don't you try doing your job? That'd be great.
Yeah.
And so it was very much like there's one guy, and I'll give him like absolute credit. His name was Davey Lind.
Okay.
Davey Papa Bear Lind, and he was like, he was my platoon sergeant for 2 rotations as a young recondo. And man, that guy, he was like the funniest guy you'd ever meet. He's like the biggest personality. We called him Papa Bear. And he had like, he's a big portly guy, but he could move when he needed to, and he held a standard. And he would be like the funniest guy you'd ever meet until it was time not to be funny.
Okay.
And then he was all the way up your shit.
There we go.
About like why you did whatever you did. And he would drill, and he knew, like, he literally, like, he was just this deep reservoir of knowledge, like anything you want to know, like whatever, like about reporting or like communications, like how to set up radios or how to like shoot sniper rifles or how to like emplace machine guns or use machine guns or like, do immediate action drills, like patrolling, direct action, didn't matter what it was. Like he just like knew it all. And so like I naturally gravitated to it. Like that was like a father figure. You're like, okay, well, this guy is everything I aspire to be. So like I'm just going to like soak in everything I can about him. And I did. And then I went to like MARSOC. And then so it's like when I came over to recon, it's like, oh, like I'm like an infantry guy. I got like a combat tour. Like I'm over at recon now. Like, hey, we're all recondos, right? And they're like, shut up, new guy. No one cares about you. Tape the wires down to the floor. Take out the trash. Speak when spoken to, not otherwise.
Wow.
It's like, oh, okay.
It's like you went through the same cycles
Yeah,
every time you made a move.
I'm a boot all over again. I'm a boot recondo. And then
Wow.
I did a couple of tours with recon under Davey Lind, 2 tours to the Al Anbar province, doing like, mainly raids and like village stability, or like, I don't know what you'd call it, like counterinsurgency operations out there. But did that, and then got pulled into MARSOC as a senior sergeant. And I was like, okay, well, like now I'm coming over here. Like I got like 3 combat tours, 2 of them with recon. I was a recon team leader. Like now I finally arrived. Like I think like I made it. And I show up there like, hey, no one cares what you think, new guy. Tape the wires on the floor. Take out the trash. Don't speak unless spoken to. And I was like,
just when I thought I made it.
like, God, I'm like, man, like when am I ever going to make it? And the key, but the learning point to be had there was like, I could have taken that as like, well, this is bullshit. I've earned my place here. Like, I deserve more respect. And I could have had that mentality, but I didn't. I was like, okay, well, I always took it as like a challenge. Like, okay, well now, if you're not going to respect me and accept me, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna earn it. Like, and so like I'm gonna show up every day, and I'm gonna just grind.
There we go.
I'm just gonna show up and I'm gonna grind. I'm gonna do my job, and I'm gonna earn my place. And luckily enough, I was able to like do that, and with people that I really truly respected. And, Aaron Brandfast was my first element leader at MARSOC, and this guy was he was a retread, meaning like he'd like gone in the Marine Corps, gotten out, and then came back in. But he was in like Somalia, back in like Mogadishu, in the Marine Corps, fighting skinnies out there, and then he got out, and then he was like a bail bondsman or like a repo man, I think, in like Sacramento, California. So he's like a rough, tumble guy,
Mm-hmm.
but also like one of the funniest, most charismatic guys you'd ever meet. And he has this podcast called Stranger by the Hour. Fantastic stuff. And so this guy, he taught me like all these little that it's like I think when I came to Mars, I was like, that's when I really learned like the intricacies of like, here's how special operations differs from reconnaissance. Because the reconnaissance, yeah, you're doing like, you're doing behind enemy lines, you're doing assaults or patrolling or like hide sites and like observation, like surveillance and target acquisition kind of stuff, like
Okay.
but then you go to MARSOC and you're in the SOCOM world. It's like, well, now you're dealing with a whole different realm of like authorities and permissions to operate, and like that's really what differentiates. Like, yeah, it's tactical skill sets are tactical skill sets, but who are you working for, and what are you working towards, and like what objectives and lines of effort are you aligned to? And SOCOM just opened a whole different world to me, and I think when I went over to MARSOC, it was less of like, all right, you're just gonna be in physical good shape, and like be hard nosed and just you're gonna be a hammer everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Into like, well, now I don't need hammers here.
Right.
I need you to be able to be a hammer,
Uh-huh.
but I need you to be a scalpel now. I need you
There
to
you
use your
go.
brain more than your brawn. And so I kind of transitioned my mindset from like just being like, like, what do we do? What do we play for? We play for this. Well, this is what we fucking play for. We're about to fuck some people up. Like, let's go get it, boys. And to like, okay, like, well, what's the purpose of this mission? Like, like, what's the objective? Are we just going out to kill people? Because I'm cool with that too. But if like, hopefully,
What's the intent though, for real?
yeah, like if I'm risking my legs and I'm risking my guys' lives and my life, like I want to know that there's like a decisive end state.
Yeah.
At the end of this, and sometimes there was, sometimes there wasn't. Like at the end of the day, we're Marines. We're soft or not, like we march. So like, we're going in to like take this IED facility down. Like, okay, weren't we there like last month? But it's here again. All right, like why don't we just drop a bomb on it? Like I can't do that, but we gotta secure it. Like, this is gonna be a mess. All right, fuck it, man. We're either checking in or we're checking out. Let's go get it. And so we would go do it, but we would do it smarter. Like we wouldn't just use like blunt trauma force to get it done.
Right.
Like we used
Think
to
of it in a more analytical way, more tactile, instead of just asserting yourself physically, or in that sense, kind of using your brain to kind of work through things. How can we go about this in a different way, maybe than what I'm used to, but also that's just as efficient?
I think and I think I think that's processes, right? You refine your processes as you get more experience. Where like my process before was like elevate the violence until they don't want to play, whether it's a bar fight or a firefight, right?
Okay.
Elevate the violence.
Okay.
And then you go to Mars. It's like, okay, like let's like be very let's be very pragmatic in our approach to planning.
There we go.
And use of assets and adjacent agencies or people, permissions, units, whatever. And don't get me wrong. Once we go on the deck, we're gonna go surreptitious, meaning we're gonna we're gonna try to do this without getting into a gunfight. But when that gunfight comes,
we're gonna be ready.
Apply, elevate the violence. like, oh, you're gonna shoot at me with AK-47s or a PKM burst. Like, I got you. I'm gonna elevate the violence to a HIMARS strike on your position. Like, I'm gonna put a GBU 38 with a 500-pound laser guided bomb or a GPS guided bomb on top of you. Just set the tone.
I get you.
Just set the tone.
Are you an Aries?
No, I'm actually an Aquarius.
You're an
or
Aquarius.
Capricorn Aquarius.
Wait, when's your birthday?
January 21st.
Oh, you're right there.
So
I'm a
I know, like,
Capricorn. You're right
every
there.
time, like, it's always females. Females are like, are you like an Aquarius? Like, I feel like you're an air sign. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like
well, see, now when we get a chance, I would love to do your chart because you're interesting. Like, you're I'm a Capricorn, and so I'm like very dictatorial, very organized, very methodical in how I go about things. But I don't know, you have a little bit more, I don't care, action about you.
don't get me wrong. Like, I call it my Rubik's Cube.
Okay.
Like my brain is a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
It's constantly, like, if it doesn't understand something, it will constantly like shift and move until I do understand.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
I can't relax.
You gotta
until
look
I
at.
know
You
what's
might be a
going on.
Capricorn. You're right there. You're like, you might be the last day
Yeah.
because I'm December 22nd, so I'm the first day. It switches right around there. We'll figure this out
It's
when we
like,
leave here.
well, and it's like I can't tell you what I had for breakfast, but if you told me something like 3 months ago,
Yeah, you
and then
remember.
today you told me something different, it'll like immediately snap like
Hold on.
she like something's not aligning here, and then my Rubik's cube starts going.
Yes.
And as the shrinks of the unit would tell me like you ruminate a lot, like ruminate.
Yeah.
That's one of those fancy words for
Yeah, I
college
like that. Yeah.
folk. I
Okay.
ruminate on things that don't align
With what you previously knew and
Yeah.
what's yeah.
Yeah,
I get you. So okay. So
that attention to detail placed in the context of like if we're talking about that day with like all that stuff led to the name cross, like
yeah.
yeah, I mean like your ability to pull from the experiences of the past, like in like you're not going to mirror it's with anything traumatic or anything detailed. You're not going to you can't fake your way through it. You're not going to miracle your way through a traumatic situation. You're going to devolve to your level of training.
Yep.
And so like that same thing in me that would like my mind would turn, if we're going on a 20-mile ruck run, probably about like mile 4, like my brain's turning off and don't talk to me.
Right.
I'm going internal
dial
and
in.
I'm gonna basically shut down.
Exactly.
I'm gonna put my body in go mode.
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm just
Exactly.
gonna fucking zone out and I'm gonna fucking move.
Yeah.
And then over there, it's like, okay, well, we're getting surrounded, and it's like you just devolve to your level of training. Like, okay, well, fuck, we can't go over the wall. You can't like expose ourselves. We're surrounded. I mean, like, what do we do now? Like, well, now we're gonna call in like airstrikes on things. Like we're gonna like smash them up with airstrikes, and we're gonna bring in a 120 mortar, linear sheaths on that from the Green Berets down south. You're constantly thinking about tools, but like I'm thinking about the tools because I've had so many repetitions doing it before. I mean, I think like the previous deployment, if I remember correctly, the previous deployment I was with the 7th Kandak. We were in support of the 7th Kandak on the commando missions in Afghanistan. So we're at a camp. It was Camp Shorbach, but now known as Camp Antonik from Chris Antonik, who was killed over there. We would go in on these like crazy, every time we go on these crazy missions, and it would be like 6 sections of aircraft stacked from like 10,000 feet to like 30,000 feet in the air. And I'm controlling all this shit while controlling my element, and I'm talking through, like, I'm controlling aircraft, I'm controlling my guys, I'm relaying information between different entities, and I still had to like worry about like not getting my head shot off, right?
Yeah.
So your ability to like multitask, and you have one radio talking in one ear and one radio talking in the other ear, and somehow like at first it's too much to handle, and then somehow there's this weird thing that happens, like your body just adapts. It's like, I don't know, all I hear is all this commotion going on both sides, but my brain is separating things into bins. Like, okay, this is like this element, internal element bin, and this is like external element bin. Like these are aircraft and like higher command. These are like my guys and my adjacent guys, and different elements and teams move around the battlefield. And being able to do that, but that experience out there, like I think, I don't know, I had like 300 plus airstrikes in a deployment, and being able to do that, and it's like, well, you have to know, being a joint terminal attack controller, which is one of my collateral duties, which you control aircraft to drop bombs on the deck. That's like the best way of truly attaining that like nirvana of like understanding like the battlefield, like not like 3D, but like 4D. I mean, you're just like fucking left, right, up, down, inside and out, like what the geographical battle space of like if this and that, and like how to move people around, like from either lateral, planes are coming in laterally, or deconflicted by altitude, or lateral, and also just controlling assets. So if you could do all that in your brain, and it just, my brain just goes right into that motion. It's automatically, it's just problem solving. Just
100%.
Like, if this, then that, and if that, then this, and if that, then that. And there's no like, well, maybe that'll work, or maybe we can make that work. It's like, it's just like either works or it doesn't. It's like, works, no, cut it, next. Works, no, cut it, next. And you're running down through your checklist, and it's just happening autonomously within my brain. And like, 2 out of 3 wives have told you I'm out of my mind. Probably 3 out of 3 now, but it says that I just, like my brain just thinks that way. It's like, I go into like, does this make sense? No, fuck it, I don't want to hear it.
There we go.
I'm moving to the next.
You handle business, you get stuff done.
I got no time for bullshit.
I love that though.
Yeah, no time, 0.
So all of these are like, they're great for when you're in these high intensity moments and they set you up for success. But did you find, as you were transitioning out of the military back into everyday life, did you find things that didn't necessarily translate mentally, physically, emotionally? Like, did you find yourself going through any obstacles when it came back to being just a normal guy?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, like number one, and I mean it's like, I mean it's not like a secret. Like team guys are terrible family guys. You know, like the family life. Like, well, I'm gonna come back from all that, and then you're gonna tell me to fucking put the dishes on the right side of the sink versus the left. Like, go fuck yourself. You know, in the house that I pay for, I'm not doing that either. Uh, so the same things that are helpful out there are the same things that are not helpful sometimes in the family unit. So I found that, you know, that's always problematic.
Yeah.
I've been known to be determined and hard-headed
Okay.
about things. I like to do things the way I like to do them. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, you're either in or you're out. Like, you want in it, like, come with me or don't come with me. That's not always the best. Kids, how do you raise kids? Like, I raise men. Like, how do I raise a boy?
Yeah.
Or boys now.
Yeah.
Or daughters. You know, it's like, how do I relate to these like these little Padawans? Like, I'm like nurturing them, like trying to like, you know, now that they're getting older, we're having these better conversations. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, I mean, I have one daughter who's, you know, she's not a fan. You know, it's kind of like well, you were never there for us, and you know, and I think that's maybe more of a she's at 16. She's at an age where she needs to like have somebody to hate, and I'm that guy. And then I have other daughters that are like eat out of my hand. There's like everything's daddy can do no wrong, right?
Yeah.
And I have, you know, my oldest son, and you know, we're nothing alike, but like I love him, he loves me. But it's like I think what I had to learn was like how to relate to people on their level.
Yes.
So like, what's my son into? Certainly not throwing footballs and doing roughhousing. That's okay.
Okay.
It's because like my expectation of him is faulted. Like, I shouldn't expect him to be something I want. Yeah. I should be what he expects. So I think that kind of changed a lot of dynamics, and recently it's been getting better with that. It's like, okay, well, what do you want? Like, want to go like play video games? You want to go like, let's go watch movies. Big into sci-fi movies. Like, all right, cool, finally something we can relate to. He likes like the Alien series. Like, hell yeah, man. Sigourney Weaver, all that. Like,
yeah.
That new one on Hulu is pretty good. It's like
I haven't seen that one.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
You know, but what you're describing also, I think, is a universal parental experience as well, because I went through similar things with my dad. And, you know, yeah, you go through the teenage stage of needing somebody to hate, needing somebody to yell at. And I think, you know, you grow through that. And sometimes, like, you know, hearing your daughter say, like, you weren't there in certain moments. My dad played football, so he was gone for half a year. We traveled with him in the beginning, but during the football season, he was gone. And I don't think I ever looked at him like you weren't there, but I think also sometimes you learn that when you get older, your parents have a job to do, and you don't know these things until you become of an age to where you have a job and you realize sometimes I have to go away, but you're always going to come back. And I think it's a maturity thing. I think when, you know, we go through things, we get older, we return our mindset, but what you're going through is not abstract. And, you know, my dad was big on like the Avengers series and like sci-fi movies. So we also bonded in that. And so I would just, in retrospect, I hold on to those moments as well. I don't always remember when my dad wasn't there. I remember the times that we did have together, and it's what keeps our bond strong now. So give it time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to the day, and I tell like her mom, I was like, look, I just want my day in court. Like, because I'm a very much like, if I have a problem with you, I'm gonna address it directly.
There we go.
Let's
talk about it.
Let's rip this scab off and have the hard conversation, so we can just move past it, rather than sitting and brooding on it for a while. Again, no time for bullshit, right? But that's not the way it is, right? With kids, you know, it's like, well, it's gonna happen when it's on their schedule. Like, you're gonna do it on their timeline, and that's okay too. So I've given her space, and you know, hopefully it works out. But yeah, it's I think just the hard part about being in the real world is all the monkeys on your back. Like, there's like, oh, what's it today? Oh, like, you got to do your taxes, or like, did you file this? You know, did you file this, or did you do like whatever? my the bane of my existence is like administration.
I get you.
I
Because it's like, it doesn't seem like when you've been through so many things that seem much more important, like those things don't seem like why am I sitting here worrying about the administrative tasks that like in the grand scheme this stuff doesn't matter,
no,
but it matters here because this is what our reality is. I get you.
the number one thing I could say with that, the thing that's made all the difference is when I finally just said like, what am I doing? Like, why am I trying to like manage my taxes? Why am I trying to like manage like legal stuff? Like, am I a lawyer? Am I a tax accountant? Fuck no. Would I defend myself in court? No, I wouldn't. So like, why am I like just pay the people who know about the thing that you don't know about?
Yeah.
And just get it done immediately. Like set your expectations, set your intentions. You know, identify a clear path to what right looks like in your eyes, and then like just task them to do it. And then it's just like now I'm just like touch points. And that's made a huge difference. That like, and I would say, you know, and not giving up space in my head, like don't give free rent in your head.
Yeah.
It's like I don't watch the news anymore, and people are like,
Me neither.
like, what do you mean you don't watch the news? I'm like, why? So I could watch like, you know,
Johnny down the road.
so I could watch like two sides pandering to their constituency and like fighting each other. And it's like, last I checked, we're all Americans, right? Like we should all just be why is it that like if I'm this belief or that belief that like my beliefs don't count? Like let's just all work together. Isn't that what this thing was all founded on? But like that doesn't sell things, you know. It doesn't make ratings
these days.
So when people are like, well, what do you mean you didn't hear about that you don't watch the news? Like, I mean, if it's important, like someone will tell me about it. I'm still in the life. Like I still do like team guy shit. Like someone will tell me if it's important.
Exactly.
They'll call me.
I agree with that. I don't watch the news either. It's a lot of negativity, and I just don't have time for that in my brain. Like, I just need, I do want to quickly ask you how you kind of got involved with Transcend and what that journey has done for you across you kind of getting back into normal life.
Yeah. So I heard about Transcend through a friend of mine, and it was gracious enough that, you know, Sarah and crew here, and Ernie, the owner, like they brought me in, and they did a test on me, and they're like, yeah, you're they tested my testosterone, and they're like, yeah, you're at like a 98, and I'm like, that's not good, right? That's pretty bad. And they're like, yeah, you're like a female. I'm like,
literally.
Well, but everything still works. Like I'm I might get a little sad at times. I got a little like extra fluff around my midriff, you know, but like I'm still good.
Still working.
Still good.
Yeah.
You know, and what I realized was that, you know, probably like an alcoholic, you know, it's like a functioning alcoholic. So yeah, I'm good. I can still do things because that just become their norm over time. Yep. And so I'd been deficient for so long that that just had become my norm. And I was like, man, like, dude, and I think I was like 38 or something like that when I started here, and it was like maybe not 39. But I was like, man, like I'm having to do a lot more cardio than I want to do in order to stay. Like I have to like eat like a rabbit. And,
I get
do a bunch of cardio, and then I look in the mirror and I tell myself like, I'm a piece of shit. Like look at you. Like what happened to us? We used to never not have a 6-pack, and now you're just rocking a 2-pack like a fucking dad. Yeah, sad.
The dad bod was coming.
Yeah, the dad bod was in for a while, but not with me. I was just like, yeah, I come from a shame-based organization. You know, and I shame myself every day.
Okay,
that's the way to
I know.
To keep excellent, right? Be your own critic. So I was just like, yeah, this is like, and then this is untenable. So I came here. They told me I had like a 98, and they got me on protocols. And I remember, you know, it didn't happen instantaneously, but probably within like 2 weeks, you know, maybe a month, I was like, man, you know, I'm feeling like better about, you know, I'm feeling like a lot better. Then it was like my wife's like, get the fuck away from me. I was like, I demand satisfaction. You know, I was like, I need exactly.
Come down from the high horse a little bit.
Look, I need exactly 10 to 15 minutes of your time. I won't bother you for 3 hours at least. You know, and it was like one of those, you know, I'm only home for so long. So, so I definitely saw like some increases in like a lot of things. And of course, you know, the fat kind of like started just magically melting off. And I think Sarah, she told me last time I checked, I was at like maybe like 1,100 or whatever. And I gotta say, it's like, yeah, like this is where it's at, because you have. I mean, I said in like the last interview, like you just have another gear. You know, having that extra oomph, like whether it's like staying late at work, or maybe elevating the violence. Like whatever it is, like I got you.
There
Like
we
we'll
go.
figure it out. But like
100%.
what I know is that like it's made a definitive difference in my everyday mentality, my self, my my self esteem of
Mm-hmm.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I mean, it's like people are like, whoa, like you need testosterone or whatever. Like, no, like I don't need it, right? Like no one like needs to get more testosterone. It just is. Like whether it's from like blasts or like any of these things that you look at all these things like, well, it could be TBI that cause you to have low testosterone, or it could be like the high cortisol levels you have, or years of it, or like the adrenaline dumps over the years.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, like, does it really matter? Like, if you're deficient in something, you either have a chance, you can either fix it or you cannot fix it,
Mm-hmm.
and you can either, and that in turn will lead you to like having the benefits of fixing it
Yep.
or not.
Exactly.
And now having seen the side of the street that's like, hey, fixing my deficiencies and the increases of living quality, life quality, and interactions with others and family time, like all of it, everything stems from ourselves. Like if we're not right internally, how can we be right externally?
Exactly.
And I think what this did for me was it allowed me to like recenter myself and get right internally, regroup, and since then, like I've had like just like a really good run of like everything's just it's going right, whether it's like job, business, friends, family, kids, well, I'm a lot better off now than I was when I first came in here, and I attribute that directly to Transcend
Wow.
and what they've done.
I love that. I love that. Okay, last question for you. Based off of just everything you've been through, your journey with Transcend, and I feel like maybe your perception of health has been kind of redefined since going through all these things. What's one piece of advice you would want to give to anybody listening that you think that might be beneficial for them to apply themselves?
I would say that everything is worth a conversation. Like a lot of people like, well, I don't know. I don't like it's a lot of, I don't want to inject stuff into my body, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to admit that like I'm not feeling well. Like, go have the conversation. Like, uh, be honest with your assessments of yourself. Like, I mean, like a lot of times people we get caught up in like, well, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to like go to the gym. I don't have time to go see people. I don't have time to go see like a therapist about my mind, or I don't have time to see a therapist about my body, my meds, or my hormones. You got time.
Mm-hmm.
We got time.
You gotta make time.
You don't have the desire. You don't have the dedication. If it matters to you, you'll make the time. And I would submit that like what's more important than your own personal homeostasis, like your like one of my good friends and mentors, he's like there's like four pillars. What do you say? It's like your personal image, like your fitness, your finances, and your family. Or maybe it's your fitness, finances, family, and spirituality.
Okay.
That sounds better. I like that better.
I like that
We'll
too.
go with that one. And spirituality, like look, man. Whether you believe in God or you believe in aliens, doesn't matter.
Right.
Like
Whatever
whatever.
your moral compass thrives on to become a better person.
Maybe 60 degrees left, right, or north, but whatever. There's certain times when it's got to be true, and you got to be true to yourself. And that true to yourself means like being honest in like where you were at, where you're at currently, and where you envision to be. If you always look at where you envision to be, you're never going to be have a holistic picture, because you're not. You're looking at the horizon. The horizon's always going to be there. You need to like take note of like where you're at now and where you're at previously. And I could say like for myself, like I was just looking at like, I was looking at like the past. And I was like, well, like, yeah, I'm not where I used to be, but I'm still okay. I'm still okay. But like, I didn't really have a clear vision of like what I could be, and I didn't really have the chance to like realize that vision until I was introduced to the team here, and really like with the I mean, like white glove personalized care they gave me of like, hey, let's talk through your goals. Like, where do you want to be? Where like let's talk about what protocols would be with that. Like, take blood work. We're gonna go through We're gonna deep dive each and everything. We're gonna talk about like what could be possible, what is possible, what you're currently feeling. I mean, we used to have a thing in the military called the PRES, like performance in special operations, performance and resiliency, the PRES program. And we had our own physical therapist. We had our own chiropractors, massage therapists, workout coaches.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, it's kind of probably like being in the NFL in terms of like you had like your own like life coaches on everything.
Everything.
We had a dietitian.
Exactly.
Not that we listened. It's like, hey, don't drink a bottle of Jameson every night. Like, whatever.
Okay.
What do you know? Like
I get you.
I like Jameson. Jameson likes me. Not always, but sometimes.
You
And
had everything you needed at your fingertips.
we had everything we needed, but then you get out. And when you get out, it's like all that shit just shuts right the fuck off. And then it's like, so now what do? You like look in the mirror every morning, you watch yourself get a little fatter, a little sadder. You're like, God damn it, dude, what the fuck is going on here? Like, I'm work, And then, so I guess along the way around, Transcend allowed me to have a resemblance of that out here in my civilian life. And, and then, take, now I do like the physical, like the protocols through Transcend, supplemented with like personal training. So like I have like a personal trainer that I don't pay him. I pay him in skill. We do an exchange of service. Like I'll teach you how to shoot if you teach me how to like work out differently. Like I can't lift heavy weights anymore. Mm-hmm. It's like my joints are all busted up. But what I can do is TRX systems and bands. And moreover, like if I'm on the road all the time, like the hotel gyms always suck. So like now I've revised my workout program to be all bands and TRX, and I'm like just as in shape as I was before, just as strong, and I don't have to like find it like an actual gym with like heavy weights.
Yeah.
So I think being willing to make the change, being willing to listen to yourself, and trusting people who know about the things that maybe you don't. Maybe you're admitting to yourself that you don't know everything, and you should go see a professional. That's what I would say.
Wow, I love that. That was great. Accept help when needed. And don't be afraid to let your ego down a little bit.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for sitting down with me. You've really expanded my brain in a lot of different ways. So I've really appreciated this conversation.
My pleasure.